Funding to build a new hospital in the southeast. The LNP unveils a plan to recycle the past to build the future using bottles and bags. Another drive-by shooting with deadly consequences sparking new fears of an all-out war in Australia's criminal underworld. Bracing for battle, the millions of Americans getting ready for civil unrest post the presidential election. And basking in Brownlow glory, the Lions' Lachie Neale, the king of the AFL jungle.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. It may still be 2 weeks until the Queensland election, but pre-polling is now officially underway and thousands are taking the opportunity to vote early. Both leaders ramped up their promises today, focusing on health and the environment. But a new poll puts Deb Frecklington behind on a key issue.
The first signs and lines that election day is nearly here. Across Queensland this morning, voters got out early to have their say.
Yeah, have a good day, buddy. No worries, right? Have a good one.
The Premier is hoping for a good one too, kicking off week 3 at a natural skincare company.
Beautiful Monday on the Gold Coast.
With a smooth plan.
My government will invest $140 million additionally into small business.
And the cash kept coming. Labor will borrow $160 million for an expanded health precinct, which includes a new hospital at Coomera.
It will cater for growth in the northern Gold Coast as well as southern Logan areas.
The LNP leader was back in orange, going green, mapping out her recycling plan.
Otherwise, all that product goes into landfill.
Committing $60 million to build new roads with plastic bags and bottles.
Queensland can become the nation leader in turning that glass into road base.
Also promising to open a solar panel recycling facility and make it illegal to dump electronic waste at landfills by 2024.
So all this plastic can then be recycled.
But Deb Frecklington is bottling up exactly how her party plans to pay for it.
All of our promises are clear and fully costed.
Labor also reusing an old attack on the LNP. The Treasurer jumping on board the Cuts bus, a 12-day road trip across the state.
We are taking the message to Queensland that Deb Frecklington is reckless and cannot be trusted.
Another Labor lie.
That's it. And as we roll towards election day, very good. The latest news poll shows 43% of voters believe the Premier's plan is more effective in creating jobs, compared to 29% for the opposition. The ALP holding a lead in the regions too.
I don't take anything for granted. This is going to be a very close race.
Time is running out for both leaders to win over swinging voters. The big challenge for the opposition leader this week is convincing those Queenslanders still undecided.
The people of Queensland only need to look at the last 5 years at the absolute failure of economic record under Anastasia Palaszczuk.
Hoping her message cuts through. Claire Barnes for 10 News First.
Let's go to John Paul Gonzo now on the Gold Coast. JP, plenty more Queenslanders are expected to take up the opportunity and vote early.
Well, that's right, Sandra, especially if today's numbers are anything to go by. We have just heard from the ECQ, a record 100,000 Queenslanders casted their vote today at pre-polling centres across the state. We're expecting around 1 million people to have their say before election day. 850,000 postal votes will also be hitting letterboxes. We have heard all along that this will be an election campaign like no other, and it is certainly living up to that. Anastasia Palaszczuk and her Labor team will stay here on the Gold Coast tonight, campaigning in seats tomorrow before heading north for another regional blitz. Deb Frecklington is already there in central Queensland, Rockhampton, trying to win over voters in those must-win marginal seats. Now, as for if the two leaders will be in the same city and cross paths, well, Sandra, at this stage, we're not sure.
The race to the finish line. All right, JP, thank you. Melburnians felt a sense of freedom today, allowed out further than 5 kilometres as businesses like hairdressing salons and golf courses reopened. As part of the relaxed restrictions, there were also no time limits on exercise or time spent outdoors.
Early birdie gets the worm.
We are back! The golf's back!
What a round of restrictions we've endured. Today was a release.
You have some bad balls, you have some good balls, but at the end of the day, it's just being out. It's what you're meant to be.
Camaraderie was back with plenty of slagging and support.
Go, Johnny! Hey!
There was a transformation in moods across Melbourne as the mullets and mops got the chops.
It's been a long time coming. It's all the simple things in life that we take for granted.
Barbers felt like they were squeezing in 3 months' worth of clients in 12 hours.
What time do you think you'll be here till?
11:59 tonight.
He's not joking. Jerry had the right idea, getting in early, avoiding the queues.
I got here at 7:45.
Even cars got that clean feeling today. It was a blast. A fresh feeling too for families now able to venture more than 5 kilometres from their homes. Travelling within their 25-kilometre radius never felt so good.
It was just great today to be able to do the Yarra Trail and come. Like, this is pretty much the limit of our 25Ks.
Real estate agents were also grinning because 10 potential bidders can now attend on-site auctions. The online option will also be available.
If we have, example, one family member who will be on-site bidding, then you can also have the rest of the family watching.
Ripping news as skate parks reopened too.
I'm in year 12, so school's not the best at the moment, so coming out skating is a good break.
Surfers will also be able to catch a break from Wednesday. They're ready to carve up waves in Metro Melbourne thanks to these man-made barrels.
I'm hoping that we're going to sell the first week out by the end of today. Our socials have been blowing up.
Urban Surf is ready to let rip.
It's going to be sick.
Ow! Christina Costalis for 10 News First.
The federal government has demanded the opposition pass its JobMaker plan, which offers incentives to employers to start hiring younger workers. But Labor wants to focus on its more generous childcare package. Here's our network political editor, Peter Van Onselen.
Parliament returned today for the first sitting fortnight after the budget. The opposition pointing out Josh Frydenberg forgot about women in Budget 2020.
That's cool.
Also selling its alternative childcare policy.
Boosting childcare, boosting women's workforce participation.
Aimed at encouraging women and men back into work.
For our economy.
The coalition used question time to press home the importance of its job-saving policies.
The budget the Treasurer delivered here and the week before last has been extremely well received.
Consumer sentiment increased by 11.9%, Mr Speaker.
Urging Labor to support the measures. 10 News First has confirmed that's exactly what they'll do.
So will Labor support the youth wage subsidy in the budget?
We've supported every major measure that the government's put in place.
That's a yes. Kinda.
We want to see whether it's going to work. If we think there are deficiencies with the actual proposed legislation, we'll raise that with the government.
Even if they can't make it better, they'll still pass the subsidy into law.
As you know, PVO, we've always looked to support the government's major measures, even if we disagree with parts of them.
Back in question time, Labor pushed its childcare barrow, devoting every single question to the issue.
How did the Prime Minister rack up $1 trillion of Liberal debt and still not fix his childcare scheme, which holds Australian parents back?
Measures should be means tested.
Why does the Prime Minister consider families with a combined income of over $189,000 rich?
The reheat of the former Leader of the Opposition's rhetoric in this place, seeking to introduce class wars again, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker,
members on my left.
Far from running a class war campaign, Labor's childcare pitch is to expand subsidies beyond low-income workers, and it plans to do it all week. Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
The brother of one of Sydney's most infamous gangland figures has been shot dead in a drive-by ambush. The attack took place outside the home of Majid Hamzi, the younger sibling of jailed murderer and Brothers for Life gang founder Basim Hamzi. And there are now fears this could be the opening salvo in an underworld conflict.
Shock and sadness turns to anger as friends of Majid Hamzi learn of his murder.
I don't believe it. I can't believe it. We were together yesterday having a barbecue.
The brother of one of Sydney's most notorious prisoners was shot outside his Condell Park home this morning.
Such a good man. That's all I know. He's a beautiful family man.
It's understood Hamzy's wife and children were inside. He was leaving for work while his two killers were watching and waiting.
Certainly we would, at this early stage, say that there was a targeted shooting.
As many as 7 shots rang out, leaving a wounded Hamzy to stumble to a nearby street where he collapsed. A citywide hunt began for his attackers as the suspected getaway car was found burnt out in Yagoona.
You can't get anything worse, I don't believe. Shooting of another human being. Those people who are prepared to do that are certainly a type of person who we don't want in our society.
A statement that's also true of his brother Bassam Hamzy, convicted of serious crimes, including the 1999 shooting murder of a teenager. He's serving 40 years in Goulburn's Supermax. While behind bars, he founded the Brothers for Life gang after converting to radical Islam. Underworld sources say those ties kept Majid Hamzy well connected with other criminals. But police say at this stage it's too early to tell if this attack is directly linked to gang tensions. But 10 News First has obtained this vision of a brawl that could be at the heart of today's bloodshed. This is believed to be a fight between men linked to the Hamzy family and the Alameddine family, another Sydney clan that has seen trouble with the law. There are fears this could lead to more payback. Michael Hammond for 10 News First.
The Lions season may have ended in heartbreak, but Lachie Neale gave fans plenty to be happy about, taking out the AFL's highest individual honour. Even with the Brownlow around his neck, though, the champion midfielder says he would trade the medal for a shot at this weekend's grand final.
Lachie Neale and his new mate Charlie haven't wasted any time getting to know each other.
I'm a little bit tired. I'm not actually too bad. I tried to call it a little bit earlier than some of my teammates, which was good. I got a little bit of sleep, not heaps.
The 27-year-old Lion duly rewarded for his remarkable season, but it was one which ended a week too soon.
I'd rather be celebrating 22 medals than one. They're very hard to get to, grand finals, and even harder to win. So, yeah, I want a premiership and I want it bad.
Lachie's mum long believed it was only a matter of time before her son took out the Brownlow.
I'm a bit biased. I always think he's the greatest player and the best player, and yeah, I'm always super proud of him.
So too his tiny hometown of Kybe Bowlight in South Australia, where everyone got behind their favourite son last night. It wasn't so much of a race for this year's Brownlow as it was a 2.5-hour coronation.
L. Neale, 3 votes, and I declare the winner of the 2020 Brownlow medal, Lachie Neale of the Brisbane Lions Football Club.
Neale had polled enough votes to win by round 11, the eventual 10-vote margin, the equal biggest since the 3-2-1 system was introduced. With former teammate Nat Fyfe in Perth, the tradition of the previous year's winner handing over the medal was scrapped.
It's my great pleasure to now ask you to present yourself with the 2020 Brownlow medal.
One tradition not even a pandemic could stop, the players being completely overshadowed by their partners in the style stakes. The unusual Brownlow night kicked off what'll be a unique grand final week. There'll be no parade. Instead, special Auskick clinics with AFL stars will be held in the Botanic Gardens from Thursday. Despite weeks of lobbying, the league seems to have conceded it won't get its wish for a full-capacity Gabba.
Listen, we've had the right conversations, we've done a bit of gentle pushing, but I think we are here because we respect the decisions of the health officer and the government, and they're pretty clear that they're very comfortable with 30.
The Brisbane Grand Final could be a showcase for some typical Queensland weather, with possible storms and a top of 29 forecast for Saturday. Joe Hill for 10 News First.
Panthers coach Ivan Cleary and star player Nathan are on track to do something that no one else has done, winning the competition's best player and best coach in a single season as a father and son combo. Emma Lawrence joins us now. She's at NRL HQ. Emma, there is plenty of buzz about this tonight.
There certainly is, Sandra, although it will be a very different looking Dally M's this evening. In the studio behind me, it will be a television-only event, so no red carpet, no glitz and glam like we are used to in previous years. We did get a taste of this new world with the Brownlows over the weekend, but tonight, all eyes are on the Clearys. Ivan potentially getting Coach of the Year, and Nathan, he is the hot favourite for the big one tonight. What an incredible season it's been for the Penrith Panthers. 17 wins in a row, and of course they take on the Storm on Sunday. Plenty of Queenslanders in contention tonight as well. What a year Harry Grant had for the West Tigers, on loan from the Storm. You'd imagine he's a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year, and of course when voting did go behind closed doors, he was leading the count as well. And then you've got Cameron Smith, the stalwart. He's always there and about. Will it be his last year in the NRL? We'll have to wait and see. But all eyes before the big one on Sunday, Sandra, are tonight on Ivan and Nathan Cleary here at a very different looking Dally M's.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Emma. Well, stay with us after the break. The mammoth legal mission to reclaim decades of stolen Indigenous wages. The major red tape preventing Queensland miners from striking it rich. More problems for Crown, why the casino operator is in the sights of the Financial Crimes Regulator. The school principal who admitted to lying his way through 50 years of teaching to get himself to the top. And putting your best boot forward, R.M. Williams back in Australian hands.
He's Junior MasterChef's 10-year-old sensation.
I've made for you my bell bong.
And he's living his dream.
Yeah!
What a little champion he is, hey?
In a big week.
No.
Ben faces his toughest challenge yet.
I'm so stressed. I was doing so well, now it's turned into a disaster. Come on, Ben, keep it up.
Ben, you got it, all right?
People have to go home, and I really, really hope it's not me.
Don't miss a big week of Junior MasterChef on 10.
The LNP have cut Queensland jobs every time they've been in government. Deb Frecklington was Campbell Newman's assistant minister. She helped cut 14,000 jobs. Is now the time to risk the LNP?
Authorised J. Campbell, Australian Labor Party, State of Queensland, Brisbane.
Look around. As the favourites come out, it begins. Observing with an eagle eye. Mastering the art of stashing. Oh, brilliant Irv Grant. Cadbury favourites. Everyone gets their favourites.
You gotta love free pizza, and all you gotta do to get it is download the Domino's app. A free pizza just for downloading the Domino's app. Happy days. Only at Domino's. Bring it in.
At Specsavers, get free polarised lenses in your second pair when choosing 2 pairs from the $149 range or above, and save $100. Offer ends November 4.
Boys.
Watch Sky Racing live, anywhere. Now available on Sportsbet.
I go to America!
You fist me. Now I fist you.
First they sued Hungry Jack's, now they want to ban our ad telling you the Big Jack has 25% more Aussie beef than theirs. But we know when you tell an Aussie it's big, it better be big. The Big Jack and the Mega Jack, only at Hungry Jack's.
RACQ is owned by members to benefit members. It's been our way for over 100 years, helping Queenslanders wherever we can. And now, with RACQ Bank, we've become Queensland's fastest growing bank because we put you before profits. With RACQ Bank, there's more for you, more for Queenslanders, and more for members.
I'm Deb Frecklington, and growing up in the bush taught me about hard work. So we'll work hard to create jobs by building better roads and the drought-busting new Bradfield. Let's get Queensland working again.
Authorised by L. Follow, Liberal National Party of Queensland, Brisbane.
A hot date at the zoo leads to a whole load of animal attraction.
Oh, he's just perfection.
And
have you and Joe hooked up before?
2 truth bombs will be dropped.
I'm really ashamed of having done that.
The Bachelorette on 10. It continues 7:30 Wednesday on 10.
Tuesday night, taco preparations begin. A dominant female wrestles with the guacamole, whilst her counterpart has found an alternative to beef mince. With grace, they settle into their nest for the evening.
Well, good afternoon as we check out the roads for the run home on the first day of the working week. We've got some dramas at the moment on the Bruce Highway. We've got a 2-car nose-to-tail crash just before you get to the Pine River Bridge. Now, it is off to the right-hand side, but there's a policeman there, a couple of tow trucks, lots of flashing lights, and everyone's slowing down for a bit of a look. Not actually on the road, as you can see there, but causing some big delays back down the gateway to about Nudgee at the moment, and some big delays on Gympie Road too, pretty much all the way back to about Chermside. Riverside Expressway, Captain Cook Bridge, starting to build as well. I'm Dave Andrews, thanks to Sell Salmon. More traffic shortly.
There may have been a cover-up over the government's $30 million land deal at Badgerys Creek in Sydney's west. That's according to the boss of the Infrastructure Department. The sale is the focus of a federal criminal investigation. And today, the opposition was determined to get some answers of its own.
A $30 million cover-up is sitting on the government's doorstep.
What it looks like is people tried to cover it up when the audit office came asking questions.
Senator, I agree with you.
Those questions resulted in a probe by the Auditor General, and an AFP investigation was launched after it was determined Sydney's second airport at Badgerys Creek is being built on land taxpayers paid $29.8 million for. A block that's actually valued at only $3 million.
It was an EL2 in the accounting part of the department.
Well, whoever that EL2 is, somebody should give them a bit of a gold star.
Not according to the Deputy Prime Minister.
That eventually will be hailed as a good decision.
How dare interrupting me when I'm on fire about infrastructure? They should be listening. They should be cheering at home, Mr. Speaker.
Fronting a Senate estimates hearing today, the Infrastructure Department boss admitted 2 officials are under investigation.
There's 2 officers.
2 officers?
One in relation to the Leppington Triangle acquisition and one to declarations of private interest, which is not related to the acquisition.
The head of the department conceding.
I think there's a sufficient question that it should be investigated.
But made it very clear.
I'm trying to clean it up.
Land in and around Badgerys Creek is under intense scrutiny by ICAC in New South Wales. Today, questions were raised about disgraced former Liberal MP Darryl Maguire and his potential involvement in the major realignment of the Northern Road in that area.
Was Mr Darryl Maguire involved in any meetings with the department in relation to the Northern Road realignment and or the intersections near the airport?
No, Senator.
No link has been made. Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
A principal who taught at some of Melbourne's most prestigious schools has admitted faking his teaching degree. 72-year-old Neil Lenny has pleaded guilty to 4 counts of obtaining financial advantage by deception. He built his fraudulent 4-decade career at institutions including Haileybury College and Caulfield Grammar School. Lenny remains on bail and will face a pre-sentence hearing in February. Crown Casino is being investigated by the financial regulator over potential money laundering breaches. Austrac started its probe into the Melbourne venue last September and is focusing on customers identified as high risk and politically exposed. This likely includes customers brought over from China by junket operators with alleged links to organised crime. Crown is already being scrutinised in New South Wales and could have its casino licence for Barangaroo revoked. A class action has been launched against the Western Australian government over Indigenous wage theft between the late 1800s until the 1970s. Some First Australians say they were taken from their families to work in squalid conditions, only to be paid in food. Shine Lawyers is lodging the class action and estimates millions in unpaid wages could be owed.
We'll see what the case is from the lawyers representing those claimants and understand the state's position, of course, and hopefully mediate an outcome.
Anyone involved can join the class action. It is one of the most fair dinkum combinations you could think of. Bookmaker R.M. Williams and mining magnate Twiggy Forrest. Forrest, one of the country's richest men, has bought the Outback outfitter, putting it back in Australian hands and putting a spring in the step of local manufacturing.
An iconic brand made for the Outback, now back in Australian hands. RM Williams purchased by WA billionaire Andrew Forrest for a reported $190 million.
I'm just so glad it's now back, and I'd have to say the family has a big solid lump in its throat about returning RM Williams back to Australia.
The well-worn bootmaker founded in 1932 by renowned bushman Reginald Murray Williams.
He was a stonemason, he prospected for gold, he survived the Depression and actually started his business.
It's hoped it'll provide some polish for Australia's struggling manufacturing industry. The Bush outfitter currently employs 400 people at its Adelaide workshop and another 500 around the country. But Twiggy Forrest says he wants that number to grow.
Look, I think it's an honour, mate, to employ a fellow Australian. The most exciting thing I've done in my career is to create employment.
We're very keen to see them make this acquisition. We're very keen to see the headquarters come back to Adelaide.
Yeah, it's great for South Australia and the local businesses.
Management says this is the strongest the company's ever been in its 88-year history. Last year they trained 100 staff here at the Salisbury workshop and invested in a second line of boots.
We can't wait to get to South Australia and meet the team that are there making the beautiful boots.
Global ambassador and Hollywood superstar Hugh Jackman did just that, dropping in last year to see the hands behind the boots.
This is one of the great sort of business success stories in Australia.
And like many true blue Aussies, there's nothing he'd rather wear.
Don't worry, loud and clear, only RM Williams.
Cam Inglis for 10 News First.
Stay with us after the break. We meet the Americans preparing for potential civil war. Plus a show of support for the teacher murdered near Paris, all because of a cartoon. And wild scenes in Europe as communities face tough new lockdowns. But first, today's weather. So here's Josh Holt.
Good evening, Sandra. Well, a warm day across parts of southeast Queensland. Temperatures soared 3 degrees above average in the city. We'll look at those temperatures in just a moment. Firstly, thunderstorms rattled and rolled across parts of southeast Queensland and the southern parts of the Gold Coast last night and during the early hours of this morning, delivering some decent rainfall, upwards of 20 millimetres falling in the Gold Coast itself. Looking at the big picture across the state today, most of the activity pushed offshore this morning, and then we're left with clear skies this afternoon. Dry conditions across the state as well, including for parts of the tropics. 31 the top for Cairns, 30 for Townsville, and we hit the same mark in Mackay this afternoon. Across the southeast, 30 degrees in Brisbane. As mentioned, 3 above average for this time of year. We hit 25 degrees at the Gold Coast, 27 on the Sunshine Coast. 31 the top at Ipswich, a little bit warmer further west as you would expect, 30 in Logan, and we hit 24 out on the beautiful Darling Downs for Toowoomba. A big week of weather ahead. I'll have all those details coming up very shortly at 5 to 6.
It's the show that's jam-packed full of laughs.
I am so excited.
Yeah, no need for applause.
Tonight, Celia, Tony and Susie are back in business with Ed and Sam.
Oh my goodness.
What a package.
New Have You Been Paying Attention? Tonight.
Nature's Way Beauty Collagen Tablets enhance collagen formation deep under the skin where beauty creams can't reach. Nature's Way Beauty Collagen gives your skin back its youthful bounce, glow and radiance.
First they sued Hungry Jack's, now they want to ban our ad telling you the Big Jack has 25% more Aussie beef than theirs. But we know when you tell an Aussie it's big, it better be big. The Big Jack and the Mega Jack, only at Hungry Jack's.
Hey mate, have you seen the Sportsbet app now has Sky Racing?
Really?
Yep, live racing from all around Australia right there on your phone.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Yeah, just one tap and you're streaming from Randwick, Caulfield, Ascot, Dapto Dogs.
Righto mate, I get it. What are you, the Sportsbet guy now or something?
I actually do a pretty good impression.
This is new. Sky Racing, now available on the Sportsbet app.
Bloody hell, that's pretty good.
I told you.
The Bathurst 1000 broke our heart, which is why we're selling off everything that reminds us of them. Like these K&N Performance air filters, 30% off. And export aerosol paint, 4 for $11.99. Oh, the memories.
My, someone's desperate to impress. You've got your Camembert, Blue, fine chocolates, and all for 29% less by switching to Aldi's exclusive brands. Now all you need is the wit and banter. Oh, never mind. Get the door. Make them wait. Wait. It's Desperate to Impress Day. Just one of 365 days to save at Aldi. Good, different.
The new HP Envy range, as powerful as you.
New Rainbow Bursties make Hungry Jack's frozen drinks more fun with bursting bubbles of triple bursty flavour sensation. Or add Rainbow Bursties to new bubblegum frozens. Get more flavour and fun with Rainbow Bursties, only at Hungry Jack's.
I heard one sign from Voce Viva, the new fragrance, Valentino.
Discover your signature scent.
I am my store.
To win immunity, they need to keep up with Andy.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Junior MasterChef's Immunity Challenge, tonight.
Well, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are preparing for the final days of campaigning. Millions of Americans are preparing for trouble no matter who wins the presidential election. Our reporters have found a nation filled with anxiety and uncertainty, with some even fearing potential civil war. Here's our national affairs editor, Hugh Riminton.
We have oatmeal for breakfast.
Leanne doesn't want us to give her last name for fear someone on the internet will track her down and raid her.
This probably would sustain us for 6 months.
She's a bathroom designer by trade, a grandmother and a Biden supporter, one of millions of Americans getting ready.
So we have respirators, we have suits for chemicals.
For anything.
You actually got stuff here for a chemical weapons attack.
In case.
What she won't show us on camera is an extraordinary array of guns.
We have an arsenal of guns and ammunition for protection.
Leanne believes America is already in a low-level civil war, which the coming election is unlikely to ease.
This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen.
The uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what people are capable of.
Faith and trust in the American voting system has never been so low. The American president has been telling his supporters for months that the whole thing has been rigged, and both sides have been constructing legal teams ready to contest the outcome here in the US Supreme Court. Down at the local shooting range, Terry Monroe is training up his 12-year-old son.
Just to give him familiarization with what a gun is, a real gun, versus something that you see off of video games, which he plays a lot of.
Have you ever seen America in the mood that it's in at the moment?
Never.
20-year-old Sam Huff just wants people to relax.
Just hug it out, just chill, like.
But for the first time in his life, he is also taking shooting lessons. Shooter Bill Ivory says he fears mayhem when, as he has no doubt will happen, Trump wins.
I just think the liberal left will become unhinged. I look for Antifa and all of those folks just to break loose, especially if it's a really humiliating, overwhelming trouncing that Biden takes.
There are many here who do not believe the polls. Hugh Riminton for 10 News First, Stafford, Virginia.
And tomorrow we'll bring you part 2 of Hugh's US election special when he goes deep into the Virginia woods to meet Trump supporters who are preparing for battle if the president loses power. Thousands of people have joined rallies in cities across France in support of the Paris teacher who was beheaded in an Islamist terrorist attack. Samuel Paty was murdered as he walked home days after showing students a picture of the Prophet Muhammad in a lesson about freedom of expression. The 18-year-old attacker was later shot dead by police, while 11 others have been arrested in relation to the killing. There have been warlike scenes on the streets of Prague as anti-lockdown protesters, many of them hardcore soccer fans, take on police. The clashes ended up with at least 20 people injured. The Czech Republic now has Europe's highest infection rate. Sports matches have been banned and pubs and restaurants closed. Lockdown fatigue is turning to protest across Europe, the continent now recording 150,000 new COVID cases every day. It was elbow bumps at the highest levels after Bahrain and Israel signed an historic deal establishing formal diplomatic relations. It is the fourth Arab state to normalise ties with Israel after its UAE peace deal last month. The US brokered agreement clears the way for the countries to open embassies and exchange ambassadors. Locals mourn their dead as Azerbaijan and Armenia blame each other for breaking an humanitarian ceasefire after some of the worst fighting in the region in decades. The truce was broken within hours. More than 750 people have died in the past month. More than 20 Vietnamese army personnel have been buried under the rubble of another landslide, this time along the country's central coast. Torrential rain sent rock and earth tumbling into a barracks at the base of a mountain. 8 people escaped, but a further 22 remain trapped, with 3 bodies retrieved so far. Well, stay with us after the break. All the latest on tonight's biggest stories. The explosive Kiwi interview taking down a politician that has taken the internet by storm. And gearing up for Rugby League's Night of Nights, COVID style.
In this immunity challenge, they have to keep up with
Speedy Gonzalez himself, Andy Allen!
This is fast food, like they've never seen before.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Junior MasterChef's Immunity Challenge, 7:30 tonight.
Have you tried the apple cider vinegar diet? Now you can with Nature's Way and their lifestyle plan. Feel fit and look fabulous this summer with Nature's Way apple cider tabs.
My way is Nature's Way.
Introducing Macca's biggest and best ever loose change menu with more of your favourites. And for a limited time, you can grab a Happy Meal for just $4. A little goes a long way at Macca's.
Let us entertain you with more live sky racing and US Sport Vision. Anytime, anywhere. Make a date with the edge of your seat this spring. Tab. Long may we play.
No matter how you care for their skin, take comfort that new Huggies Ultimate is our best care for skin. Now with our first ever plant-derived liner wrap, made from renewable sources. Huggies. Be comfortable in your skin.
Bob Jane T-Marts, the biggest range and the best deals. Buy 3, get 1 free from 2 of the great performance tyre brands, Bridgestone and Yokohama. Up to $100 instant cashback on a huge range of passenger, SUV and 4x4 tyres. We have Australia's largest range of tyres from just $59 and best tyre price guarantee, plus wheels from only $109. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll look after you.
When COVID hit, that was it. I was stood down. We had to make real changes to survive. People say to me it must be hard going from a pilot to be a bicycle mechanic, but I don't think it is. I find a sense of pride working on bikes. I always try and do the best job I can do.
It's tough out there, Australia. Every cent counts. Make sure your insurance is about where you're at right now. You could save lots. You insured. It's insurance for individuals like you.
Chicken breasts. So perfect. So versatile they can do anything. Like this and that.
Oh, look at them. Now only $7.99 per kilo. Aldi. Good. Different.
The Palaszczuk Labor government has protected Queensland lives and put us on the road to economic recovery. The last thing Queensland can afford right now is a detour deb.
Authorised J Campbell, Australian Labor Party, State of Queensland, Brisbane.
Value tastes better when it's freshly made. Subway 6-inch subs. All this for only $5 with the everyday value range. All day, every day at Subway.
Discover new homewares made for summer by updating your bedroom with 30% off selected quilt covers. Plus, save 45 to 50% off selected mattresses by Sully and Sleepmaker. Offers end Sunday, November 8. Exclusions and conditions apply.
My store.
2 truth bombs will be dropped.
I'm really ashamed of having done that.
I'm a little bit stunned.
The Bachelorette, Wednesday.
Well, hello again as we check out the roads one last time and wrap things up tonight. We've got some busy conditions still on the Gateway heading northbound after that earlier crash we showed you, which was on the Pine River Bridge just before it actually. This is the run on Gympie Road, which is really slow going, coming up through Bald Hills all the way back to about Castledome. A car caught fire on Trouts Road through Everton Park. You can see it sitting there off to the side with a fire engine in tow. Didn't cause too much in the way of delays. Plenty of delays to be had though on the Western Freeway outbound through Indooroopilly out towards Fig Tree Pocket, and some good conditions on the Riverside Expressway both in and out of the city. Not doing too badly this afternoon as we wrap things up and head on home. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Sell Salmon. Have a great night. More traffic tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories, the first votes cast with early polling centres open around the state. Early figures show more than 100,000 people have already taken advantage. The Premier today unveiled plans for a new health precinct at Coomera, while the LNP will recycle the past to build the future using bottles and bags. And Lachie Neale basking in Brownlow glory, the Brisbane Lions spending the day celebrating his big win, but he admits he would give it all up for a spot in the AFL Grand Final. Queensland's small-scale miners and fossickers say they are seeking more than their fortunes in the small towns where the gems are found. Under the Eureka flag, they are digging in with a new campaign aimed at cutting the red tape they argue is sending the industry down a hole.
In Queensland's small mining communities, those who seek their fortune below the ground are banding together under the Eureka flag flying above.
In the spirit of Eureka, we raise the flag.
Small-scale miners and fossickers say their voices aren't being heard in the big smoke, that they're being lumped in with large operators who have the ear of the government.
The regulations, the barriers that are being put in place is just driving us out of business.
Towns like Koroit and Yowa, just down the road, rely on those who come with pan and shovel in hand.
Plenty of mines out there for sale, but when people hear that it's going to take them nearly a year to get it transferred into their name, they lose interest.
4,500 miners have signed up to petition the government ahead of the election, accusing the mining minister of refusing to engage with them.
It's just not digging holes in the ground. It has an enormous ripple through the economy.
In a statement, Minister Anthony Lynham says his department is working with agents and communities, and licences to fossick only cost $8.50, without a requirement to pay royalties on what they find. But small-scale mining differs substantially, and that's a key point of the lobby group. A small operation, in many ways, is subject to the same requirements as a BHP or Rio Tinto operation because of a lack of distinction in the legislation. If more isn't done soon, they claim, these gems of the outback will soon lose their shine.
If we go, there won't be any towns left out here.
A Raise the Flag television campaign is set to hit screens soon, with hopes high for a Eureka moment to save their livelihoods. Chris Campy for 10 News First.
It is time for the news and sport with Matt Burke and Matt Cameron Smith still being pretty coy about his future.
Yeah, that's right, Sandra. Good evening. Here's the game's most capped player, but is he set to call it quits, or the grand final build-up is next? Also, is the AFL now Queensland's #1 code? Plus, the morning after the great race, Team Red Bull still flying high after Holden's last win.
Tuesday night, taco preparations begin. A dominant female wrestles with the guacamole.
whilst her counterpart has found an alternative to beef mince. With grace, they settle into their nest for the evening.
Niall Horan's plan to bring live music back to your ear holes next.
The true story of our greatest ever batsman, Sir Don Bradman, after a few coldies.
They check his eyes and they're like, can you name this number? He's like, I've got no idea. The greatest batsman of all time. He can't see.
New drunk history tonight.
Hey, you still there? Put it up. It's my failure.
Value tastes better when it's freshly made. Subway 6-inch subs. All this for only $5 with the everyday value range. All day, every day at Subway.
Beautiful, aren't they? They migrated to Aldi.
They get their fresh stuff from the same place as other supermarkets.
Barbados.
No, son. Australia.
Aussie fruit, veg and meat at Aldi prices. That's good different.
Nurofen Advanced liquid capsules have a thin seam, which enables fast release into the body. To sort pain out fast, use Nurofen Advanced liquid capsules. Unleash the speed of liquid.
RACQ is owned by members to benefit members. It's been our way for over 100 years, helping Queenslanders wherever we can. And now, with RACQ Bank, we've become Queensland's fastest growing bank because we put you before profits. With RACQ Bank, there's more for you, more for Queenslanders, and more for members.
Boys!
Watch Sky Racing live, anywhere, now available on Sportsbet.
Whether it's care for farmers, for the ecosystem, or for the future, doing the right thing matters. Those who care most about exceptional coffee know exceptional coffee comes from care. Nespresso, what else?
Introducing Macca's biggest and best ever loose change menu with more of your favourites. And for a limited time, you can grab a Happy Meal for just $4. A little goes a long way at Macca's.
Hyaluronic acid. There's a reason dermatologists love it.
L'Oreal Paris introduces a powerful serum, Revitalift Filler Hyaluronic Acid Serum. Our highest concentration of hyaluronic acid deeply hydrates, smooths the skin surface and replumps lines from within. In 6 weeks, wrinkles are visibly reduced by 47%.
Now we're talking.
Revitalift Filler Hyaluronic Acid Serum from Australia's #1 anti-aging skincare brand, L'Oreal Paris.
Well worth it.
By making strong decisions on the border and having an economic post-COVID plan, the Palaszczuk Labor government has protected Queensland lives and put Queensland on the road to economic recovery. By helping small business, investing in Queensland manufacturing industry, introducing stronger buy local policies, and bringing forward infrastructure projects throughout Queensland. The last thing Queensland can afford right now is a detour deb.
Authorised J Campbell, Australian Labor Party, State of Queensland, Brisbane.
To win immunity, they need to keep up with Andy.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Junior MasterChef's Immunity Challenge, tonight.
Good evening. The rumblings are getting louder that Sunday's grand final will be his last game, but Cameron Smith says he's still undecided. That's despite admitting he's fulfilled his dream and has no concerns about retirement.
Front and centre, as he's been for most of his career. There's little doubt Cameron Smith will be the focal point of this grand final narrative.
Is this your last one?
Don't know.
Pressed on the topic, the Storm captain's tone soon became reflective.
I've been lucky to win premierships and
represent my state and represent my country. It's all you can ask for.
He's playing at 36 and still making 30 tackles a game and still having an influence on the game. So if you're still doing that at 36 years of age, that just shows a testament of a player he is.
There'll be no Origin comeback. Smith firm on that decision, at least.
Won't be playing that. We're flush for number 9s in Queensland at the moment.
Munster admits his body is feeling the effects of a long season, but if the doctors give him the OK, he will put his hand up for Origin.
I'd play with one leg if I could. If I got to represent Queensland again, even if I'm 60%, I'll make sure I do everything I can to play.
But first, there's a premiership to win. Melbourne head into their 4th decider in 5 years against a young Penrith side who've won 17 straight and are led by tonight's Dally M favourite, Nathan Cleary.
He just holds himself so well. He's never flustered. He's always just himself.
He's just played a steady hand for the Panthers, both with his passing and his kicking game in particular. He's a real threat to us.
No doubt Penrith would say the same of Smith. Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
Gillon McLaughlin has fired a shot at the NRL, claiming the AFL is poised to become Queensland's favourite code. Although the Lions won't be there for the game's biggest day, legends say it could be just what the players need.
Luke Hodge was never known for his goal kicking. Regardless, 2 Norm Smith medalists kicking footies at Southbank makes you realise this isn't just rugby league heartland anymore.
Right now it feels like we're pretty close to being sort of Queensland's game.
Lachie Neale has a lot to do with that after claiming Brisbane's first Brownlow since Simon Black, a new hero for Queensland kids to emulate.
No, he's a very humble country fella, isn't he, Lachie? He really is, and I guess that's one thing you admire about him.
Pretty overwhelming and pretty weird to see myself in that vein, I suppose, because it's been a long road.
He'd trade in the medal for a premiership one, though, something the Tigers and Cats will have the chance to chase. They've faced a tall order all season just to get there.
And for those two clubs to be away for so long and to fight the way through and to win preliminary finals against home clubs, they deserve to be there.
They continually knock on the door of finals. They continually play in big games, and we've had a lot. Brisbane have had a lot of. We've had a lot of really big games the last 4 years.
Unfortunately for the Lions, there's little to show for that, leaving the door open for list changes.
There's probably other positions to the ground that may warrant more attention, but I guess you can always stock your side with more depth of talent, can't you?
Few can deny Tom Lynch's talent, but he remains the player fans love to hate.
I don't think you want to be disliked, but to be honest, I think you just value the people you care about the most.
A couple of indiscretions that can easily start to mount. I guess if your side's copped a couple of those, you can easily have a bit of dislike.
Tigers fans will love him more than ever if he stands up on Saturday. Josh McLean for 10 News First.
The Wallabies have just landed in Sydney after their loss to the All Blacks in Auckland yesterday. Centre Matt Tamua will have scans this week on a groin injury. It's the 3rd time this year the playmaker has been struck down with a similar complaint. Veteran forward James Slipper stating the obvious after the Wallabies missed more than 40 tackles.
Lots of areas in our game that we need to improve, such as defence and holding on to the ball, but we're just excited to get back out there and play. We can't wait for the next game.
The players will have a short break ahead of 2 more Bledisloe Cup matches in Sydney and Brisbane on October 31 and November 7. Shane van Gisbergen and Garth Tander have spent the night celebrating Holden's final win in the Bathurst 1000. And there's already excitement building for next year, with the pair set to reunite to defend their title.
A much slower pace for the champions today, who found it hard to get out of first gear following the celebrations.
It's a really cool atmosphere, and then got to bed and just couldn't sleep. I was wrecked, but still pumped about it.
The Bathurst 1000 win is the perfect ending for Holden in the manufacturer's last race with a factory team. Shane van Gisbergen's iconic victory lap unfolded naturally.
I was thinking to grab the checker flag like Speedway style, and saw the guy on the back straight and got him over, and worked out awesome.
Garth Tander is about to be engraved on the Peter Brock Trophy for a 4th time. He's keen to link up with Van Gisbergen again next year.
Everyone's been sort of on his back about, you need to get one, you need to get one, you need to get one. Well, he's got one now, and hopefully he can grab some more in the future.
Scott McLaughlin and DJR Team Penske held their own celebration. Technical changes this season were meant to bring them back to the pack. They still won the Drivers' and Team Championship.
I guess the cards were the same, or they thought so, and we still smashed them. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Look, we've got a great team here. We work hard.
McLaughlin left his mark on the mountain, not to mention car number 17. He's currently on his way to Florida to race in IndyCar's St. Petersburg Grand Prix this weekend.
I haven't driven that car since February, but I've got a 15-hour flight, 20-hour journey to sort of work it all out. So I'll look at some footage on the plane across and then try and get my head together.
Vince Hammerley for 10 News First.
And Sandra, after 161 laps, it came down basically to the last 3. Quite incredible.
Yeah, but that was really just a safety car, which, you know, changes the balance, doesn't it, completely?
Yeah. Blokes were hitting the wall left, right and centre.
Only the Wallabies had a safety car.
True.
Whoops, did I say that out
You
loud?
could introduce that.
All right, thanks, Matt. Well, showers could be set to return. Josh has all the details coming up next. Sorry.
Which grand final week traditions have been kicked to the COVID curb? Next.
In this immunity challenge, they have to keep up with
Speedy Gonzalez himself, Andy Allen!
This is fast food, like they've never seen before.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Junior MasterChef's Immunity Challenge, 7:30 tonight.
After 4 decades of world firsts, Mitsubishi brings you an Australian first. 10 years warranty with 10 years cap price servicing. Mitsubishi Diamond Advantage, built and backed for the time of your life.
Introducing Macca's biggest and best ever loose change menu with more of your favourites. And for a limited time, you can grab a Happy Meal for just $4. A little goes a long way at Macca's.
Oh, poetry in motion. The best place to catch an NRL same-game multi is Sportsbet. It's never been easier to find more markets, more offers and bigger odds. If it's a same-game multi, it's Sportsbet.
Wherever we may be going, whatever we may be doing, let's protect the moments that matter. Dettol, we protect what we love.
Australia's Nature One Dairy helps them with every wobble, every smile, splat, plonk, yoink, scribble, shuck, laugh, yawn and flop. Your partner in parenthood. Australia's Nature One Dairy.
This year, thousands of Aussies have jumped on board Light and Easy's Jumpstart program to help fast-track their weight loss success and improve their health.
The first 2 weeks on Jumpstart were amazing.
Jumpstart did jumpstart things for me. The more you see the results, the more you want to do it.
That's what pushed me to keep going because it was working.
All up, I've lost 25 kilos.
It was something that was actually working for me and it wasn't just another fad diet.
Isn't it time you jumped on board the weight loss program everyone's talking about? Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Fetch ESPN. Fetch Discovery. Fetch them all on one simple menu. All your entertainment, easy. Fetch.
84% say beat waxing is smoother for longer versus shaving.
So we're taking the Beat Feel the Difference challenge.
Shaving one leg.
And waxing the other.
Shave's prickly.
Wax is definitely smoother. Beat, feel the difference.
After years working on sites, then working in sales, I made the life-changing decision to study teaching at QUT. Switching careers was a real leap of faith. But I've never looked back.
Value tastes better when it's freshly made. Subway 6-inch subs. All this for only $5 with the Everyday Value range. All day, every day at Subway.
Tonight, Celia, Tony and Susie are back in business with Ed and Sam on new Have You Been Paying Attention?
Good evening. The rain is set to return across parts of inland Queensland towards the end of the week. We'll look at that in detail in just a moment. Firstly, temperatures today, it was warm outside. We hit 30 degrees in the city. That is 3 degrees above average for this time of year, and still right now sitting on 23 degrees, so quite comfortable out there if you do fancy a walk or a run. In terms of the temperatures, they'll be slightly cooler tomorrow or due to a change. We'll check that out as well in just a few moments. But as I move out of the way, you can see these thunderstorms sweeping across parts of the Gold Coast Coast last night, delivering upwards of 20 millimetres worth of rain. Although it was in the far southern areas of the Gold Coast, we had around about 1 to 5 millimetres pass across areas of Brisbane. So still not enough rain to really brighten up those gardens at the moment. So very dry at the moment across parts of Brisbane and southeast Queensland. Now, most of the activity has pushed offshore of the east coast of Australia. In behind it, clear skies today and also those warmer temperatures. But as I mentioned, that southerly change has begun to sweep through southeast Queensland. That will continue to move up the east coast of Queensland tomorrow. A trough of low pressure will maintain its position through inland parts of the state, and we've also got some light onshore winds along the coast. And as a result of that, we could see a shower tomorrow anywhere from Gladstone to the Sunshine Coast. There's also the slight chance of a shower and thunderstorm across the central coast tomorrow and the central highlands and coalfields. We're not expecting too much into the gauges tomorrow. It will come a little bit later in the week. Let's fast forward the rain map into Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You can see the rain beginning to ramp up across areas of Queensland. Now, this is all due to a large area of low pressure which will sweep across the eastern seaboard of Australia, drawing in that tropical moist air from northern parts of the country and helping to spread that rainfall in and across Queensland over the coming days. How much rain will we pick up into the gauges? That's the question the farmers are asking. Well, across the southeast inland, we could see widespread rainfall totals of 25 to 50 millimetres. Most other areas, including southeast Queensland, most likely seeing 15 to 25. But of course, with any thunderstorm activity, there will be the potential for those isolated heavy pockets of falls. Interstate tomorrow, Sydney 22, partly cloudy, much the same in Melbourne, hitting 18 degrees. The same mark in Hobart tomorrow. Adelaide, a little bit warmer with 25. We're looking at a dry day for Perth, hitting 26. And showers and thunderstorms again lighting up the skies across Darwin, hitting 33 degrees for Tuesday. Back home, the tropics, Cairns and Townsville fine and clear. Mackay going for 30 degrees tomorrow. Longreach to top of 38 and 33 in Roma. For areas of Maryborough, chance of a shower tomorrow as that southerly change continues to move up the Queensland coast. But as I mentioned, not expecting too much into the rain gauges. Across the southeast, it will be a partly cloudy day, including parts of the Darling Downs and Toowoomba hitting 26 degrees tomorrow. 25 the top for the Golden Sunshine Coast. Caboolture hitting 27. Ipswich a little bit warmer further west. No surprises there, hitting 29 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Now, if you're heading out onto the bay for Tuesday, you're looking at southeasterly winds up to 25 knots tomorrow, so a little bit lumpy out there, and as a result, those seas up to 1.5 metres in the northern bay tomorrow. Sea surface temperatures starting to creep up there ever so slightly. Partly cloudy, 27 degrees for Brisbane tomorrow. That is bang smack on average for this time of year. Staying partly cloudy Wednesday, Thursday and Friday this week. Now, as we make our journey towards the weekend, that weather system will start approaching from the west. So that is a shower or two Saturday and Sunday. What does that mean for the big GF on Saturday? Well, I don't think it's going to have a major impact. We may see a shower later on that night, but it should be essentially dry through the game. We'll be keeping you up to date on that right through this week. More weather coming up shortly.
Tonight's top stories, the voting begins. 100,000 Queenslanders rush to early polling stations to have their say as latest figures put the government in front when it comes to job creation. Talking rubbish, the fiery television interview that's gone viral, leaving a losing politician red-faced. And just a country kid from a country town now basking in Brownlow glory. Well, more than 100,000 Queenslanders have taken advantage of early voting centres, not waiting until the end of the month to have their say about who should lead Queensland. It was another busy day on the campaign trail, though, with the Premier stepping up her healthcare plans while the LNP turned green.
These voters didn't need to wait to have their say. Long lines at polling booths filled with Queenslanders who have already made up their minds.
So that's my How to Vote card, so all the best today.
Both leaders have been warming up for weeks, but from today, it's game on. Anastasia Palaszczuk was on a roll on the Gold Coast, trying to bowl over locals.
That's a good one. Can I go?
Out of 11 seats in the region, Labor holds just one, and barely. The Premier pouring more money into small business grants, trying to smooth over voters at a skincare warehouse.
So today I'm pleased to announce that my government will invest $140 million additionally into small business.
And there's cash for health too, with the preferred site now identified for a new hospital at Coomera.
The Coomera Public Hospital will be a full-service public hospital. It will cater for growth in the northern Gold Coast as well as southern Logan areas.
As the campaign hits the halfway point, the Premier had an extra spring in her step today, with a new poll revealing more Queenslanders trust her to create jobs than Deb Frecklington. Across the state, 43% backed Labor's plan to get more people in work, with the LNP lagging behind. In the regions where Deb Frecklington has focused so much of her time, the results weren't much better.
I don't take anything for granted. This is going to be a very close race.
The people of Queensland only need to look at the last 5 years at the absolute failure of economic record under Anastasia Palaszczuk.
The LNP leader was on Brisbane's Bayside unveiling a plan to turn bottles into bitumen.
Queensland can become the nation leader in turning that glass into road base.
Tipping in $60 million for that, as well as promising to build a solar panel recycling facility and make it illegal to dump electronic waste at landfills by 2024. Labor was doing its own reusing, rolling out the Cuts Express, rubbishing the LNP's plan to get back to surplus in 4 years.
We are taking the message to Queensland that Deb Frecklington is reckless and cannot be trusted.
Well, look, another Labor lie. This is another Labor lie. I've already said that there'll be no forced redundancies.
But no matter how many times Deb makes that declaration, the scare campaign won't stop. John Paul Gonzo for 10 News First.
Victoria has taken small steps to emerge from its COVID lockdown. Hairdressers were among the first businesses given the green light to resume operating from midnight. Restrictions on people's movements have also been eased, but most hospitality and retail businesses remain closed.
More than 1,000 Victorians have lost their job every day as a result of the lockdown.
It's all about the politics with this bloke, isn't it? That's all he does. It's all he does. He's not a leader. He's just a Liberal.
With 4 new cases today, the Premier has agreed to review Victoria's remaining restrictions at the end of the week. A done deal over a block of land in 2018 is coming back to haunt the federal government. The head of infrastructure today conceding he's concerned about a cover-up over a $30 million land grab.
A $30 million land grab in Sydney's west could turn out to be the reason for a major cover-up within the federal government.
What it looks like is people tried to cover it up when the audit office came asking questions.
Senator, I agree with you.
Those questions resulted in a probe by the Auditor General. The AFP is now conducting its own criminal investigation after it was determined taxpayers were slugged $29.8 million for the land Sydney's second airport is being built on. It turns out the Badgerys Creek parcel was actually only valued at $3 million.
It was an EL2 in the accounting part of the department.
Well, whoever that EL2 is, somebody should give them a bit of a gold star.
Not according to the Deputy Prime Minister.
That eventually will be hailed as a good decision.
How dare interrupting me when I'm on fire about infrastructure? They should be listening. They should be cheering at home, Mr Speaker.
The Infrastructure Department boss has admitted 2 officials are being investigated.
There's 2 officers.
2 officers?
One in relation to the Leppington Triangle acquisition and one to declarations of private interest, which is not related to the acquisition.
The head of the department, who has only been there for 6 months, conceded.
I think there's a sufficient question that it should be investigated.
But
I'm trying to clean it up.
Meanwhile, in the House of Representatives, Labor used every opportunity during question time to push the government's buttons on childcare. The opposition plans to focus on its pledge all week. Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
A controversial New Zealand politician who failed to win a single seat at the weekend's election has been slammed in a television interview that quickly went viral. Jamie Lee Ross established the Advanced New Zealand Party and made headlines for opposing mandatory vaccination and 5G technology, as well as criticising the government's handling of the pandemic.
You know exactly what you were doing. You were whipping up fear and hysteria among vulnerable communities.
If you go and look at the mortality rate of COVID-19 compared to other flu epidemics,
I'm going to stop. No, I'm not. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear any of that rubbish.
What do you? Give me that and not allow me to answer.
Well, if you're going to come on the show and say things which are just factually incorrect, I can do that. Actually, this might be the last time that you're on air. Probably the last time that we'll invite you on. Are there any apologies that you want to issue to anyone?
Probably not. The Advanced New Zealand Party won less than 1% of the overall vote. Brisbane Lion Lachie Neale has spent the day basking in Brownlow glory. He took out the AFL's highest individual honour in historic fashion. And watching on were the townfolk of Kybe Bowlight, who are already preparing to welcome their hometown hero and his shiny new friend.
A just reward for a remarkable season.
I suppose it has sunk in a little bit more, and I'm extremely grateful and still extremely humbled by the whole experience.
Neale polled enough votes to win the Brownlow by round 11. The 10-vote final margin, the equal biggest since the 3-2-1 system was introduced.
It's when I'm playing and training and I'm trying to improve every day and be the best I can. I truly believe that I can be one of the best players, if not the best in the comp.
Something his mum always believed.
I'm a bit biased. I always think he's the greatest player and the best player, and I'm always super proud of him.
While back in his hometown of Kybe Bowlight, a tiny community of 100 on the SA-Victoria border, locals watched from the Tigers club rooms where Neale's footy journey began.
Watching the second half of the count, it was like playing in the grand final and being 10 goals up. It was just every time you got a vote, the crowd would go up here at Kybe.
Little Lachie, who we were always worried that he was going to get hurt, well, he's now a Brownlow medalist who goes in very, very, very hard.
There are whispers, which in a town of this size travel pretty fast, that a Lachie homecoming isn't too far away, giving locals, particularly aspiring youngsters, a chance to see, possibly even touch, the most coveted individual prize in football.
When a Brownlow medalist comes to town, it's going to be something different altogether. I'm sure we'll do some sort of event, and it'll be massive for the town, and it'll get people from everywhere.
In Kybe Bowlight, Brett Clappis for 10 News First.
The Republicans are reportedly rattled. We'll explain why next. Boots and all, the Aussie icon back in homegrown hands. And in sport, is this the end of the road for Storm captain Cameron Smith?
How COVID has changed the game when it comes to footy grand final week. Plus, get ready to bop. Former One Directioner Niall Horan joins us live. That's next.
Sometimes you just have to say no. So when you say yes, it means a lot. Kinder Chocolate comes in little bars with lots of taste, so it's perfect for saying yes to at treat time. Kinder Chocolate, a little means a lot.
For the ultimate reclining experience, come and explore the Lazy Boy First Class collection with up to 40% off our Southwest, Atlas and United designs, plus many other design options. Visit your nearest Lazy Boy Furniture Gallery today.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Heart, liver, skin and bones. Strains on joints and eyes on phones. Your body is the only one you own. He's clicking, twists and sprains. Spines now with aches and pains. Hurt, arthritis, stress, cholesterol. Your body is the only one you own.
You only have one body. Look after it every day.
Black Wolves.
Boys.
Watch Sky Racing live, anywhere. Now available on Sportsbet.
Red Rock Deli. Discover a world of deliciousness.
Since being with My Budget, we have set up a fantastic family life.
We've got way more now than what we've ever had, but we're still earning the same money.
Call My Budget today to book your free consultation.
It lives at first light, wherever we push ourselves. When we pull together, it lives over the door, at the end of every paintbrush, after after the sun has set. It lives in going for a 6 where a 4 would have done it. It lives in every square inch of this place. And because we live here, Can lives here.
Get into any Drake supermarket and knock your socks off. Simply buy a specially marked product in a $20 shop and get a free pair of socks. There's 17 to collect. Don't miss out while socks last. Drake Supermarkets. Ingredients for every day.
Feel the clarity of non-drowsy Claritine for fast, powerful 24-hour hay fever and allergy relief from sneezing, runny nose, itchy eyes and skin. Because stuffed animals are clearly no substitute for real ones. Feel the clarity and live Claritine clear.
Macca's new 100% Aussie chicken menu is here with the seriously saucy palmy burger and the fiery McSpicy. So hot, it will bring tears to your eyes. Now that's too good to keep to yourself.
You want to get a... Yes. What's been the highlight of your morning? Probably this.
What's going to happen now? You ready to have your say?
31st of October is State General Election Day. Plan the way you'll have your say. Visit ecq.qld.gov.au.
And they're racing.
In a year like no other, we're taking the cup to you with coverage from across the country to see how we're all celebrating Australia's big event. Everybody has a ticket
They're on top of the world.
to the Melbourne Cup Carnival, live on 10.
Republicans are privately expressing alarm with Donald Trump still trailing Joe Biden in both national polls and crucial battleground states. The US president today touted his religious credentials in Nevada while ramping up his attacks on his challenger's family. Here's our US correspondent Eamon Ashton-Atkinson in Washington.
Donald Trump at a church in Las Vegas placing money in the collection box.
Mr. President.
As a pastor had a prophecy God would grant the president another win. But Trump will need a divine intervention if the polls are to be believed. Joe Biden, who also attended Mass, continues to lead both nationally and in key battleground states. The former VP is ahead in 6 out of 8 key swing states, including North Carolina, a must-win for Trump.
No red states, no blue states, just the United States.
The states only voted for a Democrat president once in the past 40 years. Now Biden is ahead 4%. In Nevada, he leads 8%, where Trump held 2 events today.
Joe Biden is, and always has been, a corrupt politician.
With just over 2 weeks to go until the election, Joe Biden has been outspending Donald Trump on advertising 2-to-1 in battleground states, while the president's campaign has been forced to take a defensive position in Republican states. According to some reports, Trump aides say the situation is dire, even though publicly they're optimistic.
President Trump is winning in these rural parts of the country in unprecedented numbers.
Now all eyes are looking to this Friday for the final debate, one of the last chances Trump has to turn this campaign on its head. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, Washington.
One of the country's most iconic brands, RM Williams, has walked back into Australian ownership. WA billionaire Andrew Forrest purchasing the beloved bootmaker from an offshore company for a reported $190 million in what's expected to be a boost for Australian manufacturing.
Look, I love the fact that over 800 Australians are employed by RM Williams. We'd like to employ more Australians and get more of these fantastic boots out to people.
The business was founded 88 years ago by Bushman Reginald Murray Williams. To the rest of the day in sport now with Matt Berkemat. It could be a family double at the Dally M Awards tonight.
Big night, Sandra. Good evening. The Clearys, Nathan and Ivan, could make NRL history tonight if they're named the game's best player and coach. From tomorrow, it's down to business for the Panthers as they look to stop the Storm in what's shaping as Cameron Smith's final game.
It's been a long time between drinks.
But they're back in the grand final
for the first time in 17 years.
It wasn't a dream, but for this young group of Panthers, it is still sinking in.
Kind of got home, was laying in bed, I was like, far out, I'm actually going to play in a grand final. Like, been waiting all my life to do this, so yeah, it's still a bit surreal, but definitely looking forward to it.
Extra special for the new Kings of Penrith, the Clearys.
I think that was the first time he's ever come down on the field after a game, and obviously a big game like that, it was a pretty special moment after the game.
The father-son duo will dominate headlines this week, and it all starts tonight. Dad Ivan tipped to take out Coach of the Year at the Dally M's. Son Nathan, the hot favourite for the main prize. His teammates in awe of the season he's had.
Yeah, I forget how old he is sometimes. I honestly do. Like, I just checked him today, actually. I asked him how many finals appearances he's had, and he said he's had 3, and then I forgot that he's only 22 years old. To me, that was just crazy.
His captain thinks Nathan will end up an immortal. Only time will tell, but safe to say this bloke will be. Cam Smith gearing up for potentially his last ever game in the NRL.
I've been lucky to win premierships and represent my state and represent my country. It's all you can ask for as a young kid wanting to be an NRL player. So I've fulfilled my dream, and if this is to be my last game, then that's my last game, and then whatever's next, I just move on to that.
It'll be an almighty challenge for the Panthers up against the juggernaut that is the Melbourne Storm. 5 grand finals in the last 10 years, the best team of this century. Emma Lawrence for 10 News First.
Luke Hodge has urged the Lions to use the pain of their preliminary final loss to drive them next season. The 2-time Norm Smith medalist won 4 premierships with Hawthorn, but he also knows the hurt of missing out, having played in 9 losing finals. And he had some wise words for his former teammates.
But what you've got to do as a young group is continue to experience that, continue to keep knocking on the door of finals, keep playing prelims, because there's going to be times where you are going to finish on top and you're going to get that chance of a grand final.
And he's tipping Dustin Martin to become the first AFL player to win a 3rd grand final best on ground. Shane Van Gisbergen and Garth Tander continue to celebrate their Bathurst 1000 win in Holden's last ever outing at Mount Panorama as a factory team. The drivers are keen to reunite again to defend their title, but found it tough to get out of first gear this morning.
Yeah, just really cool atmosphere, and then got to bed and just couldn't sleep. I was wrecked, but still pumped about it.
Meanwhile, championship winner Scott McLaughlin caught a flight to Florida this morning, rushing to the States to drive in an IndyCar race this weekend. Aussie Glenn Maxwell scored a duck, but his team made history in the Indian Premier League. It's the first time a match went to a second super over. Kings 11 Punjab with some magical fielding to save the result against the Mumbai Indians.
IPL.
Earlier, David Warner belted 47 runs for Sunrisers Hyderabad, but followed up with a duck in the super over as his team went down to the Kolkata Knight Riders. Direct matchups between 2 of the great quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, have been surprisingly rare. Today, they went head-to-head, with Brady coming out on top, and he teamed up with his former Patriots teammate, Rob Gronkowski, who, for their first touchdown.
Gronkowski! He's got it for the touchdown.
In the end, it wasn't close. Buccaneers beat the Packers 38-10. A 6-goal London derby featured a double strike from Harry Kane as Tottenham led West Ham 3-0 in the opening 16 minutes. The Hammers replied late, 3 goals in the last 12 minutes to share the honours, and took the shine off a Kane masterclass.
Taken away by Wicks. Oh, it's glorious! Sensational hit! Sensational climax to a sensational game!
On loan midfielder Ross Barkley scored a stunning injury time winner at Leicester, giving Aston Villa 4 wins to open the season. The Villains' best top-flight league start in 90 years. Sandra, and for the record, Everton sit on top with Liverpool chasing hard, but it is still early doors.
Yeah, long way to go yet. Thank you, Matt. Stay with us. Up next, Josh is back with your final look at the weather, and of course that includes the outlook for both the Gold and Sunshine Coasts. Back shortly.
To win immunity immunity, they need to keep up with Andy.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Junior MasterChef's Immunity Challenge, tonight.
New Primo microwave bacon. It's good as pan-fried. Just 30 seconds. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
New Primo microwave bacon, as good as pan-fried in 30 seconds.
Bold is standing out, never blending in. It's unapologetically chunky and never thin. Bold is savoured, never swift. It's plentiful, rich, sensations ignite. Old Gold is bold in every bite.
What's great about being a school teacher is I get to inspire the next generation, and they inspire me too. Hi, I'm David Ashby, and I'm a QUT education graduate. I had 2 careers before deciding to hit restart and study teaching at QUT. Now, I work in a groundbreaking school teaching this awesome group of kids. So I'm just as excited about my future as I am about theirs. QUT, the university for the real world.
Hey, mate, have you seen the Sportsbet app now has Sky Racing?
Really?
Yep. Live racing from all around Australia right there on your phone.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Yeah, just one tap and you're streaming from Randwick, Caulfield, Ascot, Dapto Dogs.
Righto, mate, I get it. What are you, the Sportsbet guy now or something?
I actually do a pretty good impression.
This is new. Sky Racing, now available on the Sportsbet app.
Bloody hell, that's pretty good.
I told you.
First they sued Hungry Jack's, now they want to ban our ad telling you the Big Jack has 25% more Aussie beef than theirs. But we know when you tell an Aussie it's big, it better be big. The Big Jack and the Mega Jack, only at Hungry Jack's.
Great taste. Just add bubbles. Pepsi Max for SodaStream.
I did more than lose 30 kilos on the OptiFast program. I've got my health and confidence back too.
With the OptiFast program, you can replace 3, 2 or 1 meals a day, depending on how quickly you want to lose weight. Find your plan.
When life gives you messiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Introducing the Tinco Floor One S3, an intelligent hard floor cleaner that detects, vacuums and washes in one smart step. Discover our exclusive Tinco range in store or online. Godfrey's Cleanliness.
You're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type. I'm the bad guy.
Seltos.
Duh.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's time to play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Hyaluronic acid. There's a reason dermatologists love it.
L'Oreal Paris introduces a powerful serum. Revitalift Filler Hyaluronic Acid Serum. Our highest concentration of hyaluronic acid deeply hydrates, smooths the skin surface and replumps lines from within. In 6 weeks, wrinkles are visibly reduced by 47%.
Now we're talking.
Revitalift Filler Hyaluronic Acid Serum from Australia's #1 anti-aging skincare brand, L'Oreal Paris.
Well worth it.
Deb Frecklington claims she'll drive us into surplus in just 4 years. Scott Morrison and the federal Liberals aren't aiming for a surplus for more than a decade. There's only one way she can get there during a pandemic, by cutting 30,000 Queensland jobs and slashing services, which will drive the Queensland economy right over the edge. We can't afford a detour, Deb.
Authorised J. Campbell, Australian Labor Party, State of Queensland, Brisbane.
Up next, as Aussies celebrate small victories in the fight against COVID-19, the rest of the world battles a deadly second wave. How grand final week's looking a little different for both footy codes. And want to get to know superstar Niall Horan? Turns out he's excited to get to know you too. The Project, next.
Good evening. The R word is back on the forecast. Rainfall across Queensland a little bit later in the week. A well-earned drink for our wonderful Queensland farmers, especially across the southeast inland. I'll get to that forecast in just a moment. Stable weather pattern unfolding as we get through tomorrow, all due to an area of high pressure sitting over southeastern Australia. A trough of low pressure will maintain its position through inland parts of Queensland. That could spark up the odd shower thunderstorm through the central highlands and coalfields. We've also got the chance of a shower thanks to onshore winds anywhere between Gladstone and the Sunshine Coast tomorrow, but we're not expecting too much rain into the gauges. Having a look at the predicted rainfall over the coming days, it really begins to ramp up Friday through western parts of Queensland, Saturday and Sunday, moving eastwards into central and eastern districts. And as a result, we could see some widespread falls across southern Queensland of 25 to 50 millimetres, but there is a possibility for isolated heavier falls with thunderstorm activity. 32 the top for Cairns tomorrow, sunny for Townsville and Mount Isa, hitting a steamy 39 degrees. 33 the top for Roma and 28 for Gympie. Slight chance of a shower for Maryborough. Into the southeast, it will be a partly cloudy day from the Darling Downs all the way through to the coast. Logan going for 27 along with Caboolture and Ipswich topping out at 29 degrees. 27 the top for the city. Partly cloudy skies as mentioned tomorrow. Over the coming days, a little bit cloudy Thursday with a top of 26 degrees. Partly cloudy skies Friday. Then we've just got a possible shower on Saturday, most likely arriving later in the evening. In fact, I think we'll get away with the GF at the Gabba. Sunday, a shower or two as that rain pushes into the southeast. Chance of a shower Thursday for Ipswich, partly cloudy Friday, and then a shower or two Saturday and Sunday. For the beautiful Gold Coast, partly cloudy skies Tuesday, Wednesday, overcast Thursday. Friday and Saturday remaining dry, but those showers eventuating over Sunday and Monday early next week. Beautiful forecast for the sunny coast over the coming days, Tuesday and Wednesday, overcast Thursday, and a shower developing over Sunday and Monday. But a nice forecast, Sandra, over the next few days.
All good. Thank you, Josh. That is the news for now. This Monday, October 19. The team at the project are standing by from the news team, though. Thanks for your company. See you tomorrow.